Welcome to episode 2 of The Magic Gardener. Thank you so much for all your wonderful responses to episode number 1. I have been overwhelmed. We've got a very exciting guest to add a little Irish inspiration a little later on in the show. But right now, straight on to Job of the Day. And yes, you've guessed it. This is my job for today. How important in these times to get our compost heaps working, folks. All those grass cuttings, we can use those. As we can't buy compost, maybe we need to make some of our own. Well, I wish that was done by magic. Oh, it's beginning to look an awful lot better. I've managed to get into the compost heap and turn it over, so in a few weeks' time I should be able to start using that. Also in this white bin, it works as a water butt. It's full of water, so I always use that as ericaceous plants love rainwater. And ribbit, ribbit. I think that's the sound of a magician going slightly mad. Well, here we are. The compost heap looks a lot better, and in the front here I've got ericaceous compost. I've made this using pine needles. I've got a camellia plant I need repotting, so more about that in a little while. Now remember the red hot pokers? I've decided to split and divide them. This way I can make a bigger display for later in the year. You can be quite harsh with these plants. I've just used a shovel here and I'm just simply going to replant them. Oh, well, that's the clumps of red hot pokers planted back in. I think that's going to make a much better display. I'm quite pleased with that. Now, remember the camellia plant that I said I needed to repot? Well, I've used some of my ericaceous compost. There. I've managed to get the camellia plant potted up, and now I'm going to find a place in the garden that doesn't have too much sunlight. It doesn't like early morning sun. Well, it's now time to introduce our special guest of the week. And this time I'm honoured and privileged to have one of the nicest men in show business. In fact, he belongs to one of the nicest families I've ever met. Always here to spread a little Irish inspiration. I asked Jimmy Cricket what he was doing in his garden to keep himself positive and how he thinks about his garden in these troubled times.
Hiya Daniel and everybody watching, it's Jimmy Cricket here in our garden, and a little bit changeable the weather. In fact, that's why I'm wearing one glove, because I heard the weather forecast. He said today was going to be sunny, but on the other hand it might be cold. You know, a garden's like an audience. A few daffodils, roses, the odd weed, and if you do a magic trick you can always get a plant. Let's turn our garden into our friend for the next weeks or months. Place where we can spend joyful and peaceful moments to get us through this crisis we're all going through. Stay safe and healthy, everybody.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. You are a true legend. My love goes back to you and, of course, May and all the family. I love you all to bits and stay safe. Now, you can see I'm taking this very seriously. I've now got a picture of me in my younger days in my shed. It's time to have a look at a few more of the pictures I've taken today, just to put a smile on our faces. Well, welcome to Trick from the Shed for this episode. This week I'm going to use 2 rubber bands. I hope you can see this okay. I'm going to try and handcuff myself with 2 rubber bands, and so I'm stuck. There's no easy way out. They can't come through each other in any way, shape or direction. But if you watch very closely, you'll see these 2 bands slowly but surely coming through each other. Something like that. Now I'll show you one more time while I wait for all your applause to die down. 2 rubber bands interlocked, something like this, as you can see. Now they can't come through any way, But if you watch very, very closely, about now, slowly but surely, they'll come straight through each other strand by strand. I hope you saw that okay on the video. And that's it from Trick in the Shed for this episode. We'll see you next week. Welcome back outside in the garden. I'm just weeding around some of these lovely Aquiledias here, and they're some of my favourite flowers, and when they do flower in a few weeks' time, we will have some beautiful pictures. In the meantime, a massive thanks to my special guest today, Jimmy Cricket, and I hope to see you in episode number 3. If you've liked it, please subscribe below and follow any more videos we may put up. Until next time, let's get weeding. Stay safe and enjoy your garden.